Hi everybody, guess what? Bought another tent. And I bought it secondhand from America, from eBay, and I just went to pick it up at the post office because it didn't turn up. And I can see why they didn't want to turn up with it, because it's just cost me another £110 in custom duties and VAT. Oh my god. So this is not the bargain I thought it was. Anyway, it's here now. Damage is done, let's get it out. So as is my want, it's a bit of an unusual one again. You know how I'm always gravitating towards unusual tents. This is from the States. It's a Big Agnes, which you obviously, probably a lot of people know for things like the copper spur and tents like that, which are really well known. But this one, I don't think there's many of them around in the UK. It's the Shield 2, which is basically Big Agnes's assault mountaineering tent. Feels smallish, but does feel pretty hefty. What's it coming in at with that? Just under 2 kilos, so perfectly good for a strong solo tent. It is actually a two-person in theory, but I doubt you get two people in it. So the price this has ended up costing me, I'm just hoping it's in good nick. I think the guy I bought it from said it had been used a couple of times, so we can only hope that's the case. They feel it really chunky pegs. Comes with 3 poles, and it is single skin breathable, and I'm not actually sure what the fabric is on this one, but we'll find out in due course. So the poles should be DAC NSL, I think. I'll see if I can find it on it, and it has this interesting little brow pole with these plastic joints on it, which gives it a wee bit extra headroom and also gives it a bit of extra bracing, I believe. Poles look okay. I've checked the joints, they seem alright. That's a good start. And here's the pegs, which look near unused, which is a good sign, and an emergency field repair splint, which is really chunky, so the pole diameter must be pretty good. These are the longest DAC pegs I've ever seen. Longest and widest, so a lot of purchase power in these, which looks great. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So I apologise now for having to do this indoors. It wouldn't be my usual style of doing things, but it's absolutely bucketing it down. It's soaking, so I think it's easier just to check this as it is just now. That's your little brow pole. Hopefully the elastics are not too bad. I don't really know how old this tent is. It came out, I think, about, well, the first iteration of it came out about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. And I'm not sure whether Big Agnes are actually still manufacturing it, but it is for retail sale still in certain stores. So this doesn't have the footprint that the guy mentioned in his listing. So that's a bit annoying, but then I don't really particularly use footprints, and I've got plenty of spares. Okay, so annoyingly, I really want to triangulate these guys, so I'm going to have to try and find 4 extra guy lines. I need 2 more pegs just for the side pull-outs, which I've used them on the corners now. But yeah, overall it looks pretty good, pretty strong. Yeah, it's well built, everything slightly oversized, the pegs are oversized. The line locks are oversized as well, which is good for if you've got mitted hands. And I like the corner pull-outs, which are massive, which means you can get skis, ice axes or whatever to secure it in the snow. So yeah, usual Big Agnes thought about how it's designed. Also like the cross pole here, which does give you more headroom, and also steepens that front wall, so less moisture getting into it as you get in and out, which is the bugbear with a lot of assault tents. You'll also notice it has a clear window running along the centre here, which is quite curious. I do like a wee window, although this is possibly slightly too large. Don't need one that big. But anyway, and there's a mesh vent at the top here, and you can undo the waterproof cover underneath. This is a pretty generous, very generous actually, rain zip cover. So that's the modifications done. I've added an extra guy line at the top of the poles on those attachment points all the way around. For some reason I've seen some versions where it actually is triangulated like that as you buy it, but for some reason this one doesn't have them, so I've added on 2 elasticated ones from a Rab Latox Summit at the back and 2 normal guys at the front, because it'll mostly be the strain will be the tail into wind. Yeah, so it's a two-way zip. And it's one of those ones that just falls, so you've got to tie it off to, these are elastics, I'm pleased to see. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It does narrow off at the back and it's pretty wide at the front. Smells okay. Non-smoker, I hope. Yeah, it smells relatively fresh actually. It looks okay. The general condition of it is good. I think it does look like it's maybe been used once or twice, if that. Just the slightest signs of wear, but yeah. And it's a 3-layer fabric on the fly here. So you can feel that kind of scrim on the inside. And then I think the breathable coating, whatever it is, and then the outer nylon. But it's supposed to be, I think, 40,000 MVTR, which is really high. That's moisture vapor transmission rate. And that's a lot. That's a lot more breathable than most jackets in theory. So that's a regular sized mummy I've put in there. And yeah, actually you can see the width at the front. This is about 132 centimetres wide. I'll measure it just to double check. So actually if you were sleeping head to head, it's actually more comfortable than some of the assault tents I've been in previously, which are definitely narrower, including my pre-tents border. So that looks quite good. You can see there, definitely a bit more width at the front, although it does narrow at the back. I think it's only about 107 or something. So looking at the roof and how it's all ventilated and whatnot, there's 2 vents, one on either side. You can zip them back, and then you have elastic pullers which are tied to tie them back. And then on the actual midgie mesh here, you can actually access the outer vent. There's an overlap, and you slide your hand through and you can then undo the vent and close it down, and or you can tie yourself in on a beeley. If you're on a ledge, you can put the rope through here without spindrift and or bugs getting in. There's a pocket on the roof here, which is good, so I'll use that for head torch, etc., and getting some bits and pieces out of the way. And there's the equivalent at the front as well here. So that in terms of storage, I like the fact that it gets most of it off the ground. And then if I bring you round to the front, 2 triangular pockets which are kind of sewn in such a way that they act like bags. They're not super tight at the bottom, but they are tight here, and that means you can just get a bit more bulky gear like mitts or whatever, oversized stuff, some clothing into there. And we've got the same on the other side. So again, it's elastic tie backed, 2 zip pulls, done, and you've sealed that off completely. No tubular or kind of tunnel vents on it at all lower down, so you kind of probably do have to rely on this for a lot of your venting. And also the front door. Let's get a wee look at the front door actually. So the door just tucks down. Again, 2 elastic pullers at the bottom. Quite handy this way of doing it if there's a lot of snow outside, because the snow will build up and you can just drop the door to come out of the tent, almost like a hatch. If we zip this up completely, you can see this clear panel across there. Now I know, I've seen a couple of reviews, that freaks some people out. I don't think I mind it. It's probably slightly bigger than I might have liked. Maybe just a porthole one would have been better. But anyway, it's not a great problem for me. And then on the top, you've then got venting here. So you can just keep the bugs out again, which just makes it that wee bit more flexible for general camping rather than just winter camping. And I'll try that out tonight. So just let some air in, and it's light rain won't get through that for the moment. But yeah, it's good. And nice, yeah, I find it quite a nice shape. And one thing I've just noticed actually is there doesn't appear to be a hanging loop right in the centre for a torch. But then do you need it? Because you put your torches in the pocket, so it's not really an issue. Could probably do with just some more tyres on the inside. Oh sorry, it does have them. Here we go. Yeah, so we can string up extra bracing or hanging lines. So in terms of length, I'm now lying with a mat. Well, not far away from the roof actually. You have to, because the roof slopes, you have to come in slightly. And if I turn you around, my feet are just brushing as well. So it's not the longest tent in the world, or at least in terms of usable space. But actually I quite like the width. I'd probably actually be able to get away with 2 of us in it slightly more easily than some tents that I've been in. 103 according to what I've got here. So that's pretty short at the rear. Just enough to get 250 centimetre mats in. Overall length, I would say about 215 long. And height at the midpoint here, 100. That's okay. You've got this, because of that extra pole, you've just got a wee bit more usable headspace. You're sitting about at the sleeping end, as I would call it. Not the 132, I would say, more like 127. But still, that's actually not too bad. That's similar to like an MSR Access 2 or a Hubba Hubba interior. So there you go, first impressions of the Big Agnes Shield 2 Mountaineering assault tent. With the extra 2 pegs and the extra guy lines, I think it will just be sitting there, just shy of 2 kilograms. And that for me is bearable for a solo winter tent, and certainly fine for 2 of us if we want to try and squeeze in here. You can get an optional vestibule for it, which I haven't bought. I may look at in the future, we'll see. However, we'll give this a try tonight, see how we got on. I think hydrostatic head is obviously huge in this. It's about 10,000 millimetres because it's a 3-layer fabric, and it should be quieter in the wind because it's not like silk nylon or polyester that kind of rattles. So we'll give that a shot tonight. Again, I'm absolutely roasted in here, by the way. There is some venting going, but it's not enough despite the humid, damp, warm conditions outside. So anyway, it's my first impression. Thank you again for watching. Drop us any comments if you want to know anything more about it below. But we'll get it out and try it. I just like these kind of tents. I just find them really simple, quick to pitch. I really like external poles. That makes it a lot quicker when I'm putting the thing up and keeps it drier inside. And yeah, and it looks pretty strong. So I do like tents like this, I have to say. However, proof is in the pudding. Let's get out and give it a go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there for the next one.